aka Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Welcome to the show. Let's get into the Star Wars news. Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 is now 55 days and closing in. 55 days away and closing in. That's Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019. My goodness, it's coming close. Anyway, to more news. Speaking of Star Wars Celebration, at the end of this show, every show at the moment, in my interview section, I will be concentrating on questions about Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019. Stick around for that. It could help you out. To more news, John Williams, the composer of all, pretty much the music, pretty much all of it, not all of it, but pretty much all of the music in Star Wars since 1977. Turned 87 in the last week. That's right, 87 John Williams turned. He is the composer for Star Wars. And this could be his last one. That's episode 9. But anyway, to more news. Rian Johnson, the director of The Last Jedi, episode 8, the one who was getting a lot of flack, who has technically, apparently, divided the community, had a big rumor out on the internet in the last day or two, which caused him to sort of take a stand, I think, via Twitter. And everyone thought he had stepped away from the trilogy that he was working on that has not been announced yet. The up-and-coming trilogy by Rian Johnson. But he has said that he's still working on it and it's still go ahead. So, yeah, all the Rian Johnson fans really got on that one. And unfortunately, he's getting bashed for, in my opinion, no reason. But anyway, that's my opinion. So that's the Star Wars news for this time around. Let's get into the views. Views is not about the YouTube viewage one gets, or it's not about predictions. It's actually about my Star Wars ideas for a story. Now, it could be any part of the story. It could even be a trailer. It could be any story aspect for Star Wars. This time around, I'm really concentrating on episode 9 as we're sort of eagerly waiting for anything for this to come out on story-wise. But in episode 9, how should it end? Now, my biggest fear in how it should end is I'm wishing they don't go for a to-be-continued sort of feel. That was the one thing about Empire Strikes Back I did not like, is the to-be-continued feel. I know it was the middle of the trilogy at that time. We really did not know what was going on in 1980. I'll tell you right now, we just thought, well, it's another Star Wars film. But a to be continued would be bad. To end in such a way that it ends in an sending to the unknown is great. It opens up for the unknown region. There's a particular region called the unknown region. So the next trilogy or next movies come along in the saga. Episode 10 would concentrate on this unknown region, which will give a bit of originality. So I would have episode 9 with an unknown sort of feeling, like closure, but with an unknown feeling. And the best way is to describe what I'm saying. If you are a fan of Rebels, the animation Star Wars, Ezra sort of had ended the series, and that's how it ended. He was sort of sent off. We didn't know if he's dead, didn't know what's happened to him. Him and Thrawn sent off somewhere, but it sort of ended poetically. So it sort of gives you a bit of an emotion about it, but sort of a wonder. So definitely episode 9 needs to end in an unknown way. And as I've said before, episode 10, which will be like an X, Roman numeral X, would be great to start as unknown. The look of what unknown is, the X, and what X means in Roman numerals 10, it works together. I reckon it's great. So that's my views for this time around. Anyway, let's get into reviews. As Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 is still bringing on everything about what's happening, where, when, how, whatever. We've had, many guest announcements in the last week, some pretty pinnacle ones, and we've also had the autograph I think, and the photo ops open up partially. So the ones that are open up at the moment, which are the two best that I think you should be looking at? But I'll tell you this, these are probably the two most popular. They may sell out, especially one of them. First one is Ian McDiarmid, which you play the Emperor Palpatine. He will definitely be at top of the list. You want to get onto that as soon as you can. And the other one, personal favourite, I don't know how popular, but I think he'll be quite popular, is Warwick Davis, who played the Wicket, the Ewok, and a number of other little characters as well. Those two are my favourite. They're 10 out of 10. The other actors and actresses are fantastic. It's all, but they are really recognisable as who they are in the films. Besides, obviously, Warwick Davis, he doesn't look like the Wicket, the Ewok, but he was in Solo. His face is there. He's been in Harry Potter and things like that. But he's just another one of those great Star Wars celebrities, along with Mark Hamill. But I think Warwick Davis or Ian McDiarmid would be great ones. But get on those before they sell out, because when they sell out, they stop. So that's 10 out of 10 for those two particular guests for photo or autograph op. Check those out. 10 out of 10. Let's get into interviews. Interviews is all about Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019. My first question is, will there be more guests for possible autograph and photo ops, photo opportunities, ops being short for opportunities? Yes, there will be. Last time, Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, didn't get announced till pretty late. How late, I can't remember, but it was pretty late. People were even asking me, do you think he'll be there? And I said, I think it's absolutely a certainty, and I'm sure he'll be there again. I'm sure of it. They're just sort of keeping the best to last. He's obviously very popular with the fans and just getting photos and stuff like that. So will there be more guests for autographs and photos? Yes, there will. Just hold on. Slowly but surely it's going to happen. I'd say more quicker than you think, because it's down to 55 days now to Star Wars Celebration. They want to get their act together, and they need to release the app and the map of the whole place, the listings of what's happening, things like that. So that's the answer to the question. There will be more guests for Star Wars Celebration. Just hold on. To the second question is, can cameras be allowed into Star Wars Celebration? Well, there's no official announcement yet. I'm sure there will be a bit of a restriction. Look, the last time I was there in the 40th anniversary room and the Last Jedi panel in Orlando, they were sort of saying at the start, the pre-host was sort of saying, everyone keep your cameras away, put them off, things like this. And then it sort of disappeared and they sort of forgot about it. So they were sort of warned you to have no cameras, but people use the cameras anyway for photos or videos or whatever it was. So I think there'll be a restriction to start off with, but they could allow it. Just bring it, maybe, just in case. I mean, you never know. You can only be told to be put it off or something like that. So there's no official announcement yet, but according to the last time, Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, they said no cameras, but then the cameras were not a restriction during the course of the panel that I was at, which is 40th anniversary and The Last Jedi. And it's great to sort of capture that moment anyway. Personally, I strongly want the camera to be there. But that's, it's up to Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 board, whoever they are. Anyway, so that's the show for this time around. Hop over to Patreon if you like, /The Force Always. You can help support this station if you like. I'm here on a weekly basis, so don't worry, I'm not going to go away. If you're not going to support, I will still keep rocking. Subscribe to the channel, The Force Always, only on YouTube. That's right, only on YouTube. And like and share the video to others out there. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.